On May 8, 2025, the quiet Hegewisch neighborhood, a peaceful corner in South Chicago, Illinois, was suddenly disrupted by an emergency alert. At 5:49 p.m., the Chicago Police Department's CPD 911 dispatch center received a call from a resident near 13400 South Baltimore Avenue. The caller reported a man believed to be armed, matching the description of a suspect wanted for aggravated battery. The suspect was quickly identified Joseph Navarro, 50, a local resident. Hegewisch, with its narrow streets and tight-knit working-class community, is not typically a hotspot for serious incidents. However, this call marked the beginning of a dramatic chain of events that unfolded in under an hour, leaving a lasting mark on the law enforcement history of both Chicago and Hammond, Indiana. What started as a simple alert escalated into a cross-state pursuit, culminating in a deadly shootout. To understand how this pursuit unfolded with such intensity, let's follow the Chicago police as they chase down and confront this dangerous suspect. The 911 call on the afternoon of May 8th was far from routine. The caller, with a voice filled with anxiety, described a man near 13400 South Baltimore Avenue who was reportedly armed. What escalated the situation's severity was the additional information the man was suspected of involvement in a prior aggravated battery, a felony offense under Illinois law. Aggravated battery typically involves the use of a weapon or causing serious injury, prompting police to immediately prioritize the situation. The dispatch center swiftly relayed the information to patrol units near Hegewisch. Officers were provided with a detailed description of the suspect, a white male, approximately 50 years old, named Joseph Navarro, residing in the reported area. Navarro was not only a local resident but also a name already on the CPD's wanted list. Joseph Navarro, born in 1975, was a resident of Hegewisch, an area known for its steelworker community and traditional working-class values. At 50 years old, Navarro was not described as a notorious criminal, but his CPD record indicated prior legal troubles, culminating in a warrant for aggravated battery. Sources from the Lake County, Indiana, Coroner's Office and COPA provided no detailed information about Navarro's personal life, such as his job, family, or mental state. However, his wanted status indicated he had crossed the line from ordinary citizen to someone in direct conflict with the law. Navarro lived in the 13400 block of South Baltimore Avenue, a residential street lined with modest homes and a quiet atmosphere. This area, close to I-94 and the Illinois-Indiana border, is part of a critical transportation network, which would later play a significant role in the pursuit. When police arrived at the scene, they observed Navarro leaving the area in a vehicle, an action that immediately raised suspicion. When patrol officers arrived at the 13400 block of South Baltimore Avenue, they observed Navarro entering a vehicle and fleeing the scene, per CPD protocol. When dealing with a wanted suspect who may be armed, officers are authorized to initiate a vehicle stop for questioning. A patrol car activated its lights and siren, ordering Navarro to pull over. Instead of complying, Navarro accelerated, speeding south. This action was the catalyst for the pursuit in the U.S. legal system. Fleeing from police is not only a sign of intent to evade, but also escalates the situation's danger. For Navarro, this decision could have stemmed from various motives: fear of arrest due to his warrant, an unstable mental state, or an intent to confront law enforcement directly. Whatever the reason, his actions turned a routine check into a hazardous event. The Chicago Police Department has strict guidelines for vehicle pursuits due to the risks to public safety. According to CPD policy, pursuits are permitted only when the suspect is wanted for a serious crime, such as aggravated battery. There is evidence the suspect poses a danger to the community, such as carrying a weapon. No other viable options exist to apprehend the suspect, in Navarro's case. All these factors were present. The warrant for aggravated battery was a serious enough offense to justify the pursuit. The report of Navarro possibly being armed heightened the urgency. Moreover, his high-speed flight through a residential area demonstrated a willingness to endanger others. After reporting via radio, the officers decided to pursue. While requesting backup from other units in the area, the chase began on the streets of Hegewisch, a neighborhood with a complex network of roads, including routes like South Baltimore Avenue and South Avenue O. Navarro, driving at high speed, raced through residential areas where children might be playing and residents were returning home from work. Patrol officers, using vehicles equipped with lights and sirens, followed closely but maintained a safe distance to avoid collisions. Hegewisch's proximity to I-94 makes it a gateway to larger highways. Navarro seemed to recognize this, steering his vehicle south toward the Illinois-Indiana border. Officers continuously updated the suspect's location via radio, ensuring other units were deployed to block routes if needed. However, Navarro's speed and familiarity with the area made intercepting him challenging. As Navarro approached the I-94 corridor, he crossed the Illinois border into Hammond, Indiana. Hammond, a small industrial city with a population of about 77,000 lives, adjacent to Chicago and often sees cross-border activity. However, a Chicago police pursuit extending into Hammond was unusual, requiring close coordination between law enforcement agencies, under federal law, and Illinois regulations. Chicago police are authorized to continue a pursuit across state lines in emergencies, but must notify local authorities. In this case, the Hammond Police Department, the Chicago officers, aware of this, contacted Hammond to report the chase. Meanwhile, Navarro continued navigating through Hammond's streets, such as Gostlin Street, a busy road with multiple intersections. The pursuit reached its climax on Gostlin Street near the intersection with Dearborn Street. Navarro, possibly losing control or attempting to avoid an obstacle, crashed his vehicle into a guardrail. The collision flipped the car, ending the vehicular escape. However, instead of surrendering, Navarro initiated a more dangerous chapter. The officers, stopping their vehicles about 15 to 20 meters from the crash site, approached with weapons drawn, ordering Navarro to exit the vehicle and raise his hands. But Navarro, crawling from the wreckage, did not comply. The gun and fire at the officers, his shots, though missing their targets, posed an immediate threat. The officers, taking cover behind their patrol cars, returned fire. A barrage of gunshots rang out, with multiple rounds striking Navarro. He collapsed at the scene, blood pooling on Gostlin Street. The entire shootout lasted less than 10 seconds, but was enough to alter Navarro's fate and leave a lasting impact on the officers. Navarro was rushed to St. Catherine Hospital in East Chicago, Indiana, not far from the scene. However, his gunshot wounds were too severe. He was pronounced dead at 6:44 p.m., less than an hour after the initial 911 call. Remarkably, no officers were injured, a rare outcome in shootouts with armed suspects. At the scene, police recovered a handgun near Navarro's body, confirmed as the weapon he used. Scattered shell casings on the road, along with the overturned vehicle, became critical physical evidence. A video, recorded by a witness, also provided footage of the incident, capturing the chaos immediately following the gunfire. The involved officers, per protocol, provided statements to COPA and the Hammond Police Department. They described Navarro as an immediate threat, emphasizing that he fired first, forcing them to respond to protect their lives. One officer stated, "We ordered him to drop the gun, but he aimed directly at us and shot. We had no other choice." Body camera footage was pivotal evidence. The videos showed Navarro drawing his weapon and firing at least 2 shots before the officers returned fire. This supported the argument that the officers acted in self-defense. However, COPA also reviewed whether the officers followed proper procedures, such as attempting de-escalation measures before firing. Evidence at the scene included the handgun, a pistol found near Navarro, matching the shell casings collected. Shell casings, ballistic analysis identified shots fired from Navarro's gun and the officer's weapons. The vehicle, Navarro's heavily damaged car, was examined to determine speed and the cause of the crash. The autopsy report from the Lake County Coroner's Office confirmed Navarro died from multiple gunshot wounds. The wounds were concentrated in his chest and abdomen, indicating he was shot from the front. His death was classified as a homicide. Though this does not imply the officer's actions were unlawful, toxicology tests are still underway to determine if Navarro was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. In Hegewisch, local residents expressed concerns about safety, shaken by a pursuit and shootout in their residential neighborhood. One anonymous resident told ABC7 Chicago, "We've never seen anything like this. It was like something out of a movie." In Hammond, the incident also caused a stir. Locals, accustomed to a quieter environment, questioned the presence of Chicago police operating in Indiana. Some raised concerns about the risks of cross-state pursuits, while others supported the officer's actions to stop a dangerous suspect. The case raised questions about police authority in cross-state pursuits. Illinois law permits pursuits across state lines, but coordination with local agencies is mandatory. If COPA identifies any violations, the officers could face disciplinary action on a societal level. This incident fuels the ongoing debate about police reform in the United States. One of the greatest mysteries is why Navarro chose to confront the police. Was he afraid of arrest for the aggravated battery charge? Were psychological factors or substance use influencing his behavior? Ongoing investigations, including analysis of his personal history and toxicology results, may shed light on this. The chase from Hegewisch to Hammond and the shootout on Gostlin Street is not just a legal event but a story of decisions, consequences, and responsibility. COPA's investigation will continue to clarify details, but the question of how to prevent such tragedies remains unanswered. This case, with all its drama and tragedy, will remain part of Chicago and Hammond's history, reminding us of the value of transparency, accountability, and the pursuit of a more just legal system. That concludes today's case. Thank you for following along, and we hope you found it engaging. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest cases. See you next time.